Hey guys, what's good? It's Dami here from Clientele Boosters, and today I'm going to tell you 25 mistakes, 25 failures, 25 lessons that I had to face painfully by 25. So these are going to be a lot more about the errors that I made in my late adolescence and early 20s, and yeah, the different failures that I've had. Because sometimes people talk so much just about the good, I want to talk about the bad as well. So the first one is this. Um, when I was about 18, 19 years old with my second, well, really like my first proper girlfriend, but my second girlfriend, um, we broke up and I took the mother out for coffee to tell her why I'm breaking up with her daughter. And initially I was like, this is the best idea. I'm going to come across so diplomatic. She's going to be so understanding. And it was funny. I got to the coffee place. It was in West Melbourne. I'm not going to I'm not going to mention the suburb because some of you watching will probably know this suburb quite well, and especially those of you from Melbourne's West. And I get to the cafe, and the mother actually shouts me for coffee. She's like, no, it's on me. I already got it for us. And she sat me down, and I was really excited, just to like, not vent everything, but be like, hey, this is why I'm breaking up with your daughter. It's nothing personal. This is just where I'm at in my life. And the mom was so understanding, so diplomatic, so like, I get it, makes sense, I understand. Um, and within 24, 48 hours, um, yeah, things got really bad between me and the ex at that time. Um, I'm not going to go into too many details for obvious reasons, but needless to say, that breakup didn't end well. And that was largely as a result of me taking the mother out to coffee. I don't know who I thought I was. I think I thought I was a High School Musical character. Like, it's so ridiculous. But that was a massive failure. And I since learned, when you do a breakup, to not take the mother out for coffee and to keep it between you and the partner. So that's the first mistake I made. The second one, I lost $10,000 in a nightclub, and I had okay. So when I was 22 years old, by this point in time, I had some experience in the event and nightclub industry. I had an event, and that event was doing okay. The relaunch of that event, in which I co-earned 33% of, it made like $10,000 in a night, which for me, especially at 22 and still now even, is a lot of money in one day. You know, and that was my first time like being like, wow, like this is, so this is what you can do in like an event. So anyway, I get some confidence, and at this point I've quit my corporate job, and my agency is still doing like sub 10K a month. But I'm about, little did I know, a few months later I'd end up getting a corporate job that's going to pay me 100K a year. But anyway, at this time I was just cold calling, trying to get this second club of mine off the ground. And, this club had a unique focus, and I would drive all around Melbourne putting up flyers for this event slash nightclub in different university campuses in Melbourne. So Melbourne University, RMIT, Deakin. Shout out to my boy Corelius. I remember he's like an international guy that speaks like multiple languages and raps in multiple languages. I remember driving him, even when I was super sick, feeling like I was going to throw up or whatever. We'd drive 1 hour to and fro, putting up flyers. I'd get him to interview different people on campus. We worked so hard to promote that brand. And I was living off my agency at the time. Again, we weren't even doing 10, I don't even think we were doing a consistent 5K a month at the time. And so every deal I was closing was to feed myself and to do petrol and to pay the social media manager. Like, I was hustling for real. Anyway, so the first event comes by, bad first event. We had like maybe well, it was bad, but like it was still an event. I paid like a low level celebrity in Melbourne to perform. No, she's not a low level celebrity. I don't say that in a derogatory term. She just wasn't like super famous. I'm cool with this chick. Um, and I paid her X amount of money to perform, plus dancers, plus a DJ, plus multiple DJs, and obviously the venue as well. But I was pretty good at negotiating, so I got the venue for free. And basically, long story short, I realized very quickly that this specific business partner had some psychological issues in his personal life, and he basically was offending the wrong how do I put this? Underground of Melbourne. Maybe that's the best way to say it. The wrong parts of Melbourne. And as soon as I realized this, I was like, oh, I don't want to be associated with that. And I quickly told him, hey, listen, it was great to work with you. but I don't think that this is going to work for me. And he didn't like that at all. And essentially, certain digital media assets were seized off me after spending $10,000 of my own money, and multiple tens of hours in terms of content creation, negotiation. I lost the venue as well. All kinds of things kind of trickled off that. I don't even think, I think my car, I wasn't able to drive at the time because I lost my license or something. So I remember literally booking Ubers as well, at times to take stuff to the venue. It was raining. Anyway, so that was a big failure. That was really good. This guy actually told like a social media manager in our team that I was paying, ignore Dami, like listen to me, you know. So yeah, it's quite a unique character. So that's to the third one. I got fired from YD clothing store at 18 years old. This one is funny. So this was one of my first jobs. And I was working at a clothing store as a sales assistant at YD, which is a one-on clothing store. And, really easy Christmas casual job, work the till, sell clothes to customers. Simple. Now, basically, so I want to obviously be respectful of the manager I had at the time. She was quite young. I was 18. She was like 23. Okay. And now that I'm 25, I'm like, 23 is young. Like, so there was a lot of just managerial things that she didn't have down pat. Like within my first shift, I was great at sales, but I didn't even know how to work the tilt. Right? So she didn't tell me to work the tilt properly, and she left me to go on a smoker break. And, yeah, I just wasn't that good at working the tilt. She didn't teach me that. Anyway, that's not why I got fired. So when you're 18, 19, and you work for a massive conglomerate, and there's like area managers, especially in retail managers don't have the best reputation internationally. And the reason for that is because, it's a lot of pressure to run a store, naturally. So what happened was this area manager that hired me, I think she expected me to be one of those 18-year-olds that had nothing else in their life going on, but I was trying to play basketball in the States still at the time. I had already come back from the States earlier that year. I was trying to still make the NBA, like from Australia, even though I wasn't even a D1 athlete. So I was working out 4, 5, 6 hours a day. And I started multi-level marketing at the time and had all these different business ideas. So for me, this job was simply a means to an end. And, I started putting up very safe, respectable boundaries. Hey, for Christmas, I'm with my family. I can't do this day. Looking forward to coming back. Anyway, initially that was all good. And then once Christmas did come around and I declined certain dates of work, it took about less than a week for me to get kicked out of the team group chat. I didn't even get a formal, you've been fired. It was a kick out of the group chat. I messaged someone else that worked at that store with me. I was like, hey, I think I got kicked out of the group chat. And she's like, yeah, X name fired you. And I was like, well, she didn't even mention it to me. She just kicked me out. And she's like, yeah. She didn't even give me an answer. So, that was a funny failure. I just took that one on the chin. But that was just, I spent 4 weeks working for YD. So, at least I have that on my resume. Okay. This one's another one where I got fired. So at 20 years old, I got fired from a marketing agency. So this was an SEO specialist agency in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. And it was during the end of 2020. So during the cough era, the COVID era. And, basically, start of that year, I already had an agency that was functioning. I got featured in the paper in Wyndham TV for growing the agency, working with not significant, but like various types of clients from e-commerce to hospitality and well-known restaurants and stuff like that. Wyndham TV, the ex-mayor of Werribee. So I was building a portfolio really fast, and I was 20 at the time, so I was really young. And, I used that as leverage to get a marketing job, but I was not familiar with SEO. I understood Facebook ads to an extent. I understand social media, like website stuff, but I was more of like a charismatic person. I wasn't the best marketer. I just wanted it so badly. Anyway, so I get this job at this SEO agency. And, initially the owner has super high hopes for me. He's like, this kid has charisma. He sold me on the job. He's going to crush it. I've heard how he speaks. And all those things were real. But, as someone who leaned introverted, I really realized I was more introverted when it was now me and 2 or 3 other people in the office, and they could hear every single sales call that I was making. So every time someone would hang up on me, every time, someone would swear, anytime someone would pick up. And, very quickly, the vibe in the room changed from he's great to like, when is he going to get a deal in? And to be fair, the other salesperson he hired at the same time also took a while to get a deal in. Anyway, so 2 weeks go by. I'm on the phones calling, no deals come in. And he takes me, and I'm also coming late. Like I learned a hard lesson here. Like I was coming late like 5-10 minutes. It was one of the first jobs where I had to come in at like consistently 8 or 9 a.m. to an office that was 1 hour away from where I lived, right? So I'm in the west of Melbourne, they're in the east. So, you take me for a walk. Hey man, listen, like, you have potential. You're really, really great at communication and sales. I need to see a deal, and lateness is not tolerated at this company, right? And that's fair enough, obvious reasons. Anyway, so at one point, I think this is week 2 or week 3, he starts getting frustrated. And, he's like, let's do a role play. So we do a role play with sales. And he's like, nah, say it again, Lami, like this, Dami, like that, like that. And effectively it got to the point where one of the older account managers was like, I nearly mentioned the name of the owner, I'm not going to do that. The account manager was like, I think Dami's got it. But the guy was so stressed that I didn't close anything that he was almost finding issues in like my basic pitch, which is fair enough. Like I get it. Like now as someone who manages 30 people across 2 businesses, I understand what that's like. The pressure when you have to meet, like when you have salaries to pay for and your revenue doesn't come in, and you see the cash in the bank account going down for the business, and you got to pay tax. I get that now, fine. But anyway, so what happens eventually is I actually get legitimately sick, and the owner calls me while I'm sick, and he's like, "Are you coming into work today?" And I was like, "No, I'm sick." And he's like, "Oh, okay, you got to usually tell me ahead of time so I know that you're not coming in." I was like, "But I already mentioned that I'm sick." But I think he wanted me to let him know maybe like the weekend before that I was going to be sick or something like that. And again, fair enough, I get it because, Anyway, the next day, I get a letter of resignation. He's basically saying, unfortunately, Dami, he's had to fire me, blah, 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 blah. Spoken to the team, we're going to miss working with you. You're very great energy, blah, blah, blah. But, it's not going to work out. So yeah, that was another job I got fired from. I'm going to do one more because it's going to be a 5-episode series. Another failure. So fast forward 9 months. I'm 21 years old at this point. Fast forward a year, maybe 1 year. Anyway, now I'm living in the CBD. I'm living in the city. 21 years old, living in the city, having a lot of fun, obviously. Got a cool roommate. Playing basketball for Melbourne University, Big V Championships, which is just under NBL 1. So, I'm positioned quite well at 21 at this stage. So, I lost the job that I talked about before at that SEO agency, and I get another job for another SEO agency. This time, I'm a business development manager, okay? So I'm a BDM for a marketing company, a very big marketing company. Not the one in Melbourne, which you guys might be thinking of. Not King Kong, for lack of better words. But another really big agency. And similar-ish thing happened. I didn't close any deals, but the long and short of it was I was remote. So I was remote. I was getting paid way more. It was like $90K per year. And, I had a little bit more wins under my belt. Like I was a bit more experienced as a salesperson. I learned a lot from the other marketing company. And I was still growing my agency on the side. The difference was these guys were charging $5,000 a month for their marketing services. And the agency I was working with before and I still remember to this day, was charging $495 a month for essentially the same service, but different level of clientele. The business that I was working for as a BDM, they were had clients like Microsoft, Audi, and the other company had occasionally big clients as well, but it was more like, your multi-6-figure business or 7-figure business, maybe low 7 figures. But these guys are working with conglomerates, franchises, multinationals, right? So these guys are great. I love their environment, actually, and they gave me a lot of autonomy. I actually quit, and I'm going to consider this a failure because I quit because of a few reasons. I was actually about to close a deal for them, but I didn't follow up appropriately, and that deal slipped through my fingers, and I think I lost like a 30 or 50K deal for that company, which in retrospect, I'm kind of grateful for because I ended up getting hired for a different company after this job, and that really trained my sales skills and things of that nature. But Anyway, so I lose that deal, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get fired again. Like, I don't want that as another story. And I also don't want to disappoint the founder. I actually really liked the founder. I think as a younger guy, and I still do this in many ways, but you look for older men that you can see yourself in. And this was someone that I did see myself in, immigrant, um, built up an agency, was very successful with the agency in terms of at least revenue. He was initially, his story is great. I'm not going to disclose his name. Anyway, I quit, and I give the excuse of, I'm going to be focusing on like uni is too much to do at the time. And to be fair, I was a university student, but the main thing was just that I didn't want to fail, right? So I quit, and I lost the 90K per year job, and I don't even think I was there for even up to 2 months. Um, so yeah, guys, those are the first 5 failures. I'm enjoying this series because I'm reliving progress, things that have made me the man I am today and the man I'm becoming. But guys, anyone that's built anything remotely sizable, whether it's a production company with 1 billion views, whether it's multiple events and nightclubs or festivals, whether it's a marketing agency that has multiple 6 figures and will be hitting 7 figures in the next 12 months or so, it's like we've been through probably so many more failures than like most people. That's why maybe that progression seems a lot faster, but it's just the rate in which you're able to fail and then adapt and learn from those failures. So anyway, those are the first 5 of 25. I'll see you guys in the next one.